He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbour as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this and you will live." But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbour?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he travelled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. 'Look after him,' he said, 'and when I return I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have.'" Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbour to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." Once upon a time there was a very poor orphan who wanted nothing more in the world than to belong to a family. Finally his opportunity came. He was 8 years old and a family wanted to adopt him. Introductions were made, papers were signed, and just 6 days after his 8th birthday, he left for his new home. He took with him his hope and his possessions, the old worn and torn clothes he was wearing, and a single soft toy. His new parents were excited to have him with them and wanted him to feel like one of the family. A special celebration dinner was held. He was given his own room and introduced to the other kids in the street. His new parents took the old clothes, threw them away, and bought him beautiful new clothes. They bought him a bike and more toys, and pretty soon he began to feel just like all the other kids in the neighbourhood, loved and part of the family. One thing, however, was curious. The young boy's old shoes, the ones with the big holes in them, weren't tossed out with the rest of his clothes. His new father placed them on the mantelpiece. It wasn't long before the newly adopted son found out why. Every time the boy did something wrong, his father would go and get those shoes and say, "Look at all we've done for you. We took you in when you had nothing, but look at how you've behaved." Unfortunately, it is easy to do the same in our relationships. We can dredge up the past and throw it back in someone's face, never letting them forget how much they're in our debt. Forgiveness means throwing out not only the clothes, but also the shoes, and refusing to dredge up the past, using it as a weapon in the present. At one time or another in life, we have all been hurt by the behaviour of another person. Their jealousy, anger, resentment, sarcasm, gossip, or harsh words. The hurt often goes deep, and it's extremely difficult to forgive the person who has hurt us. But difficult though it is, unless we forgive and in turn experience forgiveness, we'll hold on to hurts and resentments that will sour our relationships, erode our minds, and cripple our hearts. It isn't easy to forgive, and as a very perceptive Englishman once said, to err is human, to forgive divine. Difficult though it is, those who seek to follow Jesus are reminded in the gospel of the need to have a limitless capacity for forgiveness. To forgive not 7 times, but 70 times 7. The first step in being able to forgive anyone is to be able to forgive ourselves for our failings. Too often we believe that God forgives us, but we fail to forgive ourselves. Surely, if God is able to love and accept us, then we need to extend the same gift towards ourselves. Our own experience of being sinful but forgiven forms the basis of our ability to forgive others. Forgiveness is not a vague feeling, but first and foremost a decision. It is a choice to forgive someone who has hurt us, and from that decision there flows appropriate action. Forgiveness means being merciful, even when the hurt has been intentional. Forgiveness means accepting people as they are, and not demanding that they measure up to my predetermined standards. Forgiveness involves taking a risk, for when we forgive someone, we open up ourselves to the possibility of being hurt again. The alternative is to shut them out so that we are not hurt again, but then we lose an opportunity to grow. Forgiveness is about a way of living with other people. It means refusing to harbour grudges and resentments. It means being able to see people as more important than their failings and going out to them in love. Failure to forgive is often a way of controlling others, for it means that I refuse to accept the fact that we are all sinners and in need of healing and reconciling love. Forgiveness is a decision about a way of living in relationship with others. It's a choice of a lifestyle that is merciful, compassionate, and accepting of others. It means not putting conditions on our forgiveness, saying, I'll forgive you, provided you don't do that again. It means being able to accept another's apology. Someone may realise that they have hurt us and come to say that they're sorry, but we respond by saying, forget it, it wasn't really important. We need to be able to accept the apology. So maybe a few hints are in order. Firstly, acknowledge. The first step is to acknowledge that we've been hurt and recognise the feelings of anger and resentment that accompany the experience. Failure to acknowledge these feelings may cause us to repress them or to hold on to them and let our attitude towards the other person harden into positive dislike. Real forgiveness means being able to see that there is more to the person than the hurt they've caused and choosing to forgive them. Secondly, appreciate. Often the hurts that we experience are from those we love, who are nearest to us, and we ask ourselves, how could they do this to me? Some injuries are unavoidable and unintended, and we need to see things from the other person's point of view. What pressures are they under? How would I have acted in their shoes? Understanding the other person's situation helps us to be more compassionate. And lastly, act. The choice to forgive will often mean some action, an apology, a hug, some kindness, a prayer for the other. One of the most forgettable lines in movie history occurred in the movie Love Story, where Ali McGraw said, "Love means never having to say you're sorry. In fact, love means having to say sorry often, to ask forgiveness and to seek reconciliation." It may be that in your decision to forgive the other person, there is also a decision to gently confront them about the consequences of their pattern of behaviour. Forgiveness does not mean passivity in the receipt of unacceptable behaviour or acquiescence in the face of evil, but a willingness to acknowledge your own response, to appreciate the other, and to choose how to act rather than merely react. Our God is merciful, compassionate, and forgiving. And as we strive to imitate these qualities, we might bear in mind the words of the German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer to a young couple on the occasion of their wedding. Live together in the forgiveness of your sins, for without it no human fellowship can survive. Don't insist on your rights. Don't blame each other. Don't judge or condemn each other. Don't find fault with each other, but take each other as you are and forgive each other every day from the bottom of your hearts. May you have the ability to throw out any old shoes, let go of grudges, and practice forgiveness in the name of the God who in Jesus has redeemed us and called us to fullness of life. Amen.